Welcome back, family and friends, gamers.
And cat lovers!
I'm Rod Hunt.
And I'm Rika.
We are R202, and this time we are back with another Monster Hunter video. We haven't even played Rise yet, but here we are with our wish list for the 6th generation of Monster Hunter. After we play Rise, maybe we'll revisit this and share our thoughts again. But for now, Rika and I will share our current wish list for the 6th generation of Monster Hunter. She's going to go first because my list is much longer. Or I should say my list is longer, but I have a lot more to say. So, Rika, take it away.
Okay. The first thing I want is more cute armors and also more feminine palico armors, since I felt there were only few in Monster Hunter world. Like maybe they can have female and male versions for each armors. Second one is I want more unique special gathering missions, like I enjoyed watching Rodney doing the exchanging mission with cats. It would be nice if those missions give us more special decorations for the room or for our weapons. Thirdly, I'd love to have the missions that only palicos can go, like in Generations. It's always nice to see they go on adventures. Lastly, I don't want them to stop updating, because I will not have any motivation to play once I know there will not be any more add-on stuffs.
Monster Hunter as a live service. I totally forgot to pick that. Actually, I totally agree. I really think we could have got a lot more out of Monster Hunter World. Anyway, that was Rika's short wish list, and here comes my also short wish list, but with a little bit more to say. So anyway, thanks, Rika.
Oh, thank you.
All right, so here we go. My wish list. I kind of have two. How that happened depends on where we're at, what world we're in, and if returning monsters is still going to be a thing. If we're going to stay in the world of Kokoto, Poke, Yukumo, Astera, etc. And if Rathalos, Gravios, Gormagala, and the rest are all going to come back, then my list would look like this. Have the whole world available like in Generations and Generations Ultimate, but even more. Include all the styles and maybe some new ones as introduced, like in Generations and Generations Ultimate, and bring back some of the older elements of Monster Hunter. Now, I'll begin by loosely covering two of these in my wish list. Having the styles from Generations Ultimate is exactly as it sounds. I like how this adds layers to our individualities. Not only can we distinguish ourselves from others with our armor sets, but also how we choose to wield our favorite weapons. And about bringing older elements back, well, I haven't played Rise yet, but upon hearing how we no longer need hot or cold drinks is unsettling to me, and my fears that Monster Hunter is slowly becoming the arcade version of itself is quickly becoming a reality, not something I'm in favor of. Now that we got those two out of the way, let's move on to the big one of my wish list. I want the whole world of Monster Hunter available to us as an open world game. I want to traverse a map of the entire known world. This map I'm posting here was posted by a Reddit user named Nitro Stout. He's the creator or the original poster of this, I believe. I didn't create this map, and I don't know if it's accurate. I'm just using it to illustrate what I'm trying to say. Anyway, I want to go from Kokoto to Moga, from Poke to Astera, Celiana to Yukumo, and beyond. Kind of like how it is in Generations Ultimate, but not just instantly teleporting there with a click of a button. I want a story that takes us on a long journey from town to town, where we have to prepare for these extra long journeys, possibly meet and help or be helped by other hunters along the way. I want it to be that we have to travel to different towns, to different areas to find specific hunts, because monsters have specific habitats, or some may be nocturnal while others diurnal. So for example, you have to travel to Kokoto to hunt Rathalos, but also need to travel to Poke to hunt Blangongas. But what about Shrieking Legianas? Would you find them in the same region as Poke? No, these aren't in those mountains near Poke. You'll need to travel to Celiana and venture into the hinterlands. I like to think of this as similar to how the maps are in Final Fantasy. Maps in that series have different monsters in each region. It gives each area its own identity, and the world feels more like a world. Another way I'd like to add to this, to give each area of the world its own flavor, is each blacksmith from each town specializes in crafting different weapons and armor. For example, if you're a hammer user, maybe you'd frequent the blacksmith in Astera. But if you're a longsword user, you'd visit the smithy in Yukumo. Now, I'd like to be clear. I don't want to get rid of hubs or the regular way we used to ready up for quests. I actually think that would still be a good way to drive the story. I just want the whole world available to us, and I want to travel across it all. To have the freedom to go wherever. Maybe that's what we'll call it. Monster Hunter Freedom. Oh wait. They already did that. Anyway, I'm probably doing a bad job of explaining this, but I can visualize a game where I have to travel long distances between towns, and to stay nourished along the way, it would be important to understand migration, gathering, or feeding places of Aptonos. Hunting them would be vital to survival, as opposed to how it has been in the current Monster Hunter games where they kind of are just there, or in the way during a hunt. Can you see what I'm trying to convey? Maybe you took up a quest to deliver some ores, found specifically in the Jurassic Forest, and you need to have them delivered to the blacksmith in Poke. And as you travel across these hills, you get hungry and decide to track down some Aptonos. But so was a hungry Astalos. Will you avoid the Astalos and find meat elsewhere? Face it, or just trek on and push your limits. I want Monster Hunter to become more about expedition, exploration, and survival, and less like the arcade version it is becoming. Or as Jacob had put it in his video, DPS boss fights. To me, Monster Hunter has recently started to feel more like arenas with maps. Just find the monster and murder it. Or if you know where it spawns, just go there and handle your business. This is Monster Killer now, not Monster Hunter. Anyway, I could really bang on about the world I'd like to be immersed in if Capcom is going to continue to bring back old monsters and keep us in the same old world. So, that now brings us to my other wish list, and I'll try not to drag that one out. So what is it? Stop bringing back monsters released in previous games, and let's not stay in the same world. I want Capcom to have the courage and bravery that they had when they started this series and to create a whole new world with no returning monsters, weapons, armor, anything. I want none of it to come back. Going forward, I want each Monster Hunter to be its own unique game. To me, the series always feels more like upgrades than new games. I've made this comparison before. The Monster Hunter series feels no different than a Madden game to me. The first Madden game I've ever played was on Sega Genesis. That was back in the 1990s. I kept up with the series up until PS2, and as the series moved along, I'd never go back and play the old ones. And that's how it is for Monster Hunter with me. I play the crap out of them, squeeze every ounce I can out of these games, and then I never go back. I will still go back and play games like Metal Gear, Gears of War, Xenogears, and more. But not old Monster Hunters. I know I'm beating a dead horse here, but I want each Monster Hunter game to be its own unique world with its own story and monsters. I want Capcom to push the boundaries of the worlds they create while still keeping the gameplay we love. Like I would love to see an origin story about that society 1,000 years ago, or even a Monster Hunter in a sci-fi-ish setting. I've had dreams of playing a game like that, and I hope Capcom developers will dare to dream big as well. And there you have it, my somewhat short wish list with long explanations. I did, however, overlook something when I wrote all this down, and that is, it goes in tandem with the Generations Ultimate idea. If we're going to have the whole world, the whole map available to us, then I'd also like the entire monster catalog to be available as well. Bring all the monsters back. Now, I do have one last wish list, one last piece, and I'm going to be completely candid here. I'm going to be off script. And what that is I want Monster Hunter available on every system. I'd really like to save some money and stop having to buy a brand new system every time they make a new Monster Hunter. Now, I know that there are 2 teams, but in my opinion, I really don't care if there's 45,000 teams. They can put that game on every system. I'm old, and when I was coming up, that's the practice it used to be for games. They used to put them on many systems. I know there was a lot less systems, but my favorite example to always use is Strider. There was the arcade port, and that was put on the Sega Genesis, and a lower quality, lower graphic version that was put on the Nintendo Entertainment System. And that's the one I had first, and I played the ever-loving crap out of that game. So that for me shows that I'm comfortable. I would have preferred at the time when Monster Hunter World was coming out if they would have made a 3DS version of Monster Hunter World. I would have gladly picked that up instead of buying 2 PS4s. And just like with Rise, I would have preferred to not have to have bought a Switch if they would have just put it on the PS4, or at the time if they were still supporting the 3DS, I would have bought that version too. But I know that they probably might not have. They might have been pushing away from the Switch, and I get that systems will progress and eventually they won't. But if they're still supporting it, if there's still support for it, then they can make a lower grade quality. It's just like how back in the day, they would support the Nintendo or Super Nintendo, and they were still making games for Game Boy. You would get the Game Boy version that would be a lower quality, wouldn't be as great, but you still get one. So I'd really like that. That's Capcom. Please stop making me chase this thing from system to system. I've been playing it since the very beginning on PlayStation 2, and I've chased it on every system you put it on. I'd like to stop chasing it on every system, on a new system, every time you want to make a new Monster Hunter. I'll take a lower quality. I'm beating a dead horse. I know I already said that, but I'm just being candid here. I would like to stop having to buy a new system every time they make a new Monster Hunter. And there you go. That's all I got. So I'd like to thank you all for watching, and thank you for subscribing. And I especially love listening to other ideas. So what's your wish list? It's my favorite pastime on YouTube. Not just video games, but anything. I'll listen to any kind of idea, even ones I disagree with. And if you know a video of maybe somebody you like that posted a different idea of what their wish list is, put it in the comment section. I want to check it out. I want to check out what everybody thinks. That's what I love to do. So, again, thanks for watching. And thanks for subscribing.